If you're somebody who's looking to start a B2B lead gen agency or cold email agency, you're going to really enjoy this interview I just did with Matt, talking about his journey from zero to where he's at now, talking about best industries, worst industries, tech stack, and everything else you'll want to know before getting started on your journey. Let's go ahead and get into the interview. Everybody, welcome to the channel. Today we are talking to Matt Lucero. We're going to learn about his journey starting a cold email agency. Matt, welcome to the channel.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on. Super excited to chat and ready to talk.
Awesome. Well, the first question I ask everybody is, who are you and what do you do?
So my name's Matt. I do cold email stuff. We send a couple 100,000 emails a month. Work with about 25 clients. Work with Smart Lead. Work with trying to think of anyone else. I don't know. We work with 25 people, and yeah, we send a bunch of emails, book people a bunch of meetings, and get people more money so that they don't have to do email stuff themselves. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, there we have the quick bio. Now, kind of going into your start in this business, how long have you been running this and how did you first get into this space?
Yeah, good question. So yeah, I've been running this business for like the LLC, I think was formed a little like 2 years and a month ago. But I've been doing like kind of online stuff. I've been running business stuff or trying to do entrepreneurial stuff for probably the past 4 years. First, I did something with my family, then tried like supplement, drop shipping, like random stuff there. And then after both those things failed and I lost money doing both those things, I ended up I've been like watching the Facebook ads, like drop shipping, like it naturally kind of leads into all the other digital marketing stuff. I like reached out to some like I was after doing all that, I was just at my like rock bottom, whatever, and I just started reaching out to a bunch of random people from like testimonials of like biz op courses. It's just like, please, can I work for you for free? And then wonderful guy helps me out, started working for free under him for a while, doing like Google ads, whatever. And then I actually was like so fed up, wanted to quit my job, was in college, hated all of it, that I went to one of my former employers that I had a good relationship with, and was like, I see you guys aren't doing any marketing stuff. Can I help you with that? Started off doing Google ads, didn't like they were MSP, so IT services, very interesting or like hard service to sell. And so then that led me to outreach, which led me to cold email, which led me to a bunch of groups. And I'm like, man, this seems a lot better and cheaper. And so then joined a bunch of groups, scaled from there, and here we are. So that's the 2 second or the 2 minute short story version. But basically, been doing this for a while. Got into it by brute forcing of not enjoying the traditional education route that I was going down, and like yeah, just reaching out to people, asking to work for them, basically.
Drop shipping is like the hazing ritual all online entrepreneurs must go for
Yeah.
before they actually make any money.
Yeah, it is. And the worst part of it all, this just shows like there's so many steps to the entrepreneurship where I was like, I'm gonna be smarter than the drop shipping guys. They get their inventory from China. I'm just gonna buy the inventory myself, which is not drop shipping, by the way. I'm like, I could do it that way. It's a faster shipping time, so people are gonna be happier. But newsflash, the hard part isn't the buying of the products, it's the selling of them to the consumers. And so there I was sitting there with $1,500 worth of product because I was getting a good deal, and like a lot of lessons that everyone goes through, but or not everyone, maybe just me specifically because I'm an idiot, but definitely went through some of the sticks and mud through some of those initial business ventures. But yeah, things worked out in the end still, hopefully. But yeah.
So if someone's listening to this and their agency is not working, well, first they need to fail at drop shipping. So that's what they should do.
Yeah.
So then come back to the agency. But to be fair, like drop shipping teaches you copy, product research, communication, marketing, website, because you need to do everything. So I think it is like a healthy thing. But yeah, I remember I finally thought I was successful at drop shipping because I had a 30K month, and to turn out I lost $500. So that also taught me accounting too, because revenue and profit are very different things that you need to manage closely. So funny story, but anyways, going into you've done cold email for your employer, which is a IT services company, which are hard to get results for. I agree. How did that go from, hey, I'm doing this for an employer to getting those first 2, 3 clients?
Yeah, so it was doing it for a former employer, but the way that that worked out is I was working for them, and then it was like during the whole, 2020 era, I'll just say that. There's old 2020 stuff, so I was let go along with a lot of the other. It was like an intern thing. I was in high school, so I did that, and then I went back to them. I wasn't like working for them at this point, and the relationship was like a contractor thing. So it was basically my first agency client. I had my LLC. I gave them a proposal, did all that type of stuff, and then from there, I made another common mistake, or it depends what you think. I see a lot of people do the same thing, which is like, I'm just gonna focus on this one client. Not like don't sign anyone else, just figure it out, which is kind of a good thing and also kind of a bad thing in other ways. But I started working with them for like 4 months, joined some coaching programs, like learned a little bit more. It was getting them like okay results. But then getting my next clients, like I knew how to do cold email and LinkedIn automation, all the other stuff. I just wasn't smart enough to think like, wait, I should just do this for me. And so I started doing it for myself. And then it was pretty quick from then on out, just doing the same stuff I was doing for other people for a very hard offer, going to like, hey, I'll get you clients and you don't have to do anything offer is a lot easier to sell than like, hey, do you need a new on-site IT team to like help configure your whole network? So yeah, it was just really like from there, it was just working for them for like 3 to 4 months to where I felt like confident in signing more people and then just doing the same stuff I did for them for myself and with some guidance of all the different coaching programs I joined to help me get there. So yeah.
Awesome. And I'm curious now for client acquisition, do you still get a lot of your own clients from cold email?
Yeah, so I would say not, honestly, not anymore. Not because I can't. It's literally because now for context, I make YouTube videos, I post content in a lot of places. That client acquisition or that channel, you can't really turn off. So if I make a YouTube video and it gets 1,000 views every, week or whatever, I can't just say like, hey, I want to stop getting clients on that medium. It just keeps going for free passively or whatever. And so whenever I'm like, hey, I'm actually good on clients, cold email is the first thing I turn off. And so because of that, and we've been like really into hiring fulfillment optimization mode, I haven't been running outreach for myself for probably the last 3 months or so. Not because it doesn't work, but simply because it's the first thing that I can't even turn off. And so I do that. But I would say over the course of the whole agency, the biggest client acquisition channel has been cold email for us. So yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that because I can say, we do run cold emails all the time, but at the same time, we get so many leads from LinkedIn, from Twitter, from YouTube. I mean, and one of the questions I normally ask is like, how big of an impact has your personal brand had on your agency? And you've already answered it to some extent there. But like YouTube, for example, it's just such an amazing lead source because you're able to nurture. You get paid by YouTube, you get paid by affiliate links, you can do video sponsors, you can send people to your own offers. So I'm curious, what initially got you to start a YouTube channel?
It really was just joining coaching program. Like the advice I got from the mentor was just like do everything. And one epiphany that I kind of had too is like people watching this video. If you're watching this video right now, it's probably on YouTube. The reason why you know Michael, probably because of YouTube. The reason why you're knowing about me right now is because of YouTube. The reason, like, I watch a lot of YouTube. A lot of people are on YouTube. The reason why you know Alex Ramosi is YouTube. Like, the reason why you know a lot of stuff, at least in this space, and most people are on YouTube, so it just kind of makes sense. And I also like YouTube too because it's a high barrier to entry. Like a lot of people are scared to get in front of camera, a lot of people are scared to speak. And so for that reasons, it just kind of makes sense. And like everyone loves, me included, just putting on a YouTube, sitting back, eating your meal, doing whatever. So it just made sense. But the reason why I got into it was because of a mentor. And it did take, I would say if anyone's looking to do it, your time horizon, like cold email is great because I could turn it off. You could see an, or turn it on, see an ROI in like 2 months, like a significant one, including sales cycle, everything. Like for YouTube, for me to say that like it was genuinely worth my time is like a year-long time horizon. Like the first 9 months, if all you're trying to do is like, I just want clients today, you should do cold email, you should do cold outreach, you should do something with a faster feedback cycle. But the best part about YouTube now is it's exponential. Like I make one video now and it's, has such a more impact than what I did a while ago. So if you're not going to go all in on it and you're not doing it on like a minimum year-long time horizon, it's not worth it. But if you're like zoomed out and you're like, I'm going to be in this for 5 to 10 years, it's phenomenal. Yeah, would 100% recommend.
One thing too of YouTube, I'm curious if you've seen this, is for hiring, it's amazing because you can find people that already bought into you.
Yeah, it is great. It's the best. I would say it's the probably the best channel or platform for just business, personal brand, that type of thing. But yeah, it's like a lot of the people I just did a hiring process, there's 350 applicants, out of like the five that made it to the final stage, I think three or four of them were inbounds from personal brand, like mainly YouTube. So if that says something, like, and that's, yeah, not counting the client acquisition, not counting the brand deal, sponsorships, affiliate partnership, like
Sure.
it's awesome. Would highly recommend. So
Well, that's sick. Now, given that we both have a very similar business, we do cold email for B2B companies, thought it'd be fun to talk a little bit about favorite niches, least favorite niches, campaign secrets, and just get a bit more technical. There's a lot of people I talk to, it's more about what their business is like, but we do the same thing. So,
yeah.
I think that would be a little bit fun here. So, one question, if you're cool sharing, is what is your actual offer of cold email? Like, how do you structure working with clients?
Yeah, so right now, so we initially start off the business, and to anyone who's watching this who runs a cold email lead gen thing, pay per call, like performance-based thing, so much easier to sell. We started off with that, and then now we transitioned to more of a retainer model. And candidly, we constantly test new pricing structures and new offers and new whatever. So like what we're working with now is we do like a retainer model, and then we do 3 month minimum commitment, and we give a quarterly like payment option. And so that's basically like the model and what we do now. And we usually offer guarantees. It's like all on a case by case basis. If there's someone and they're selling, like, we get into the industries or whatever, but they're selling like a custom software solution to an enterprise company, I'm not going to guarantee them stuff, because like it seriously would take 10 times more effort to get the same result compared to another company. But yeah, so it's basically just a retainer with a guarantee sometimes, and that's what I'm still even trying to figure out, is like, how do we want to structure that? How does that look? But yeah, it's just retainer model, and we do 3 month minimum commitments, and we'll offer guarantees on a case by case basis, and we're still kind of deciding how we're going to move forward with that, if we even want to do that anymore. But
Now, one thing you mentioned there is it's going to take 10 times more effort to get leads for someone selling software development to enterprise clients. Now, I want to hop in here because
yeah.
very often people ask the question, yeah, what is the KPI for cold email? What should my open rate be? What should my response rate be? What should my lead rate be? And it's funny because like the HubSpot blog post they read in 2018 that says you should have a 1% lead rate was written to get you to read it, right? Um,
Hmm.
it's ridiculous for range. And also like this is also why looking at cold emails, at least for me, in terms of revenue is most important, because let's say I have a client A gets 20 meetings a month with tiny companies, client B gets 1 meeting a month with massive companies. Which one is better? Well, it depends. And I'm sure you've found the same with your campaigns. So I'm curious, let's talk about niches a little bit. I think this would be fun. Niches or industries, what have been your favorite and least favorite industries to go after of cold email?
Yeah, great question. And yeah, I want to comment on that piece too. The biggest eye opener as a service provider is the results, and your client happiness. Like, there's so many variables of what results even means. It's like, if I get someone, which I'll give literal scenarios that just happened. I had a client who we booked them 3 meetings in 1 month, and I was very unhappy. I'm like, man, this guy's super unhappy. Ended up pausing because he's like, hey, I want to like wait this through. Comes back to me and he's like, hey, we closed two of those, three of those deals. I'm not going to say the deal size. I don't want to give too much information about it, but let's just say he made a very, very, very healthy ROI and is ready to work again. Versus I have another client who we get like 15 meetings in the first month, and they're like, hey, the meeting quality sucks, we didn't close any of the deals, and like they want to end their, like, there's so much variance, and so there is a lot of nuance. And I always say this with even KPIs, like what you're talking about. There's like email sent, open rates, reply rates, positive reply, then meetings booked, and then revenue generated. You want to like optimize for the most bottom of funnel thing, because everything else is not good, but you're generating a ton of revenue, versus everything else is perfect and your revenue sucks. Like, you would take the perfect revenue every time. But that aside, going back to the niches, I honestly like working with marketing agencies. Like, such the obvious thing. Like, if you're in the email lead gen space, a lot of people, that's like the first thing. And people say that it's saturated, whatever. But a lot of them, I like working with marketing agencies because the the industry is one component. Like, typically the offers are ROI based. It's easy to sell to people who might not have an immediate need. But the second thing too is the persona, like the person that you're working with is usually like more personable to get along with. They just get it more because I'm a marketer, they're a marketer, they kind of get it, right? Versus there are some industries where it's like, hey, the ticket sizes are big, but they are I would say like more mature, older industries and the people you work with get it less, have different expectations. So even though it's like probably the most common thing that a lot of these guys work with, I love marketing agencies broadly still. It's a majority of the clients we work with tend to be marketing agencies. And then other verticals I like, um, they're really I wouldn't even say it's tricky too because there's industries which is like marketing, staffing, consulting, IT, but then the offer, like one of my best case studies ever is a staffing offer, but it's placing pre-trained commission only appointment setters. Like that's not like a traditional staffing offer. And most staffing offers is a lot harder to get with. So I'd say it's like my favorite industry as a whole. I just say like marketing agencies because they kind of get it. They're more open to trying stuff. But with everything else, it's almost just on a case by case basis. Terrible staffing agencies, phenomenal staffing agencies, terrible consultants, phenomenal consultants, SaaS, like there's so much variance. But I'd say marketing is probably the most like standard, healthy, and has worked well, like broadly, I'd say.
It's funny you mentioned, for example, that the offer is a good component because we were just talking about personal brand, and I also think personal brand matters a lot. For example, we have a client that does Google Ads. We've had some Google Ads agencies do okay, some do bad, and a couple do great. The two that did great, one of them has 100K subscribers around Google Ads on YouTube, and the other one is like a really well-known name who like speaks at events on Google Ads. Like the brand equity is a piece that's hard to consider because it just depends, but you can do so much better with personal brand. Like another example, we had a PR company who helps people grow on Instagram. The founder has 3.7 million followers on Instagram. He is going to do 30 times better than a PR agency that doesn't have that. So a lot of it's just
Mhm.
specific to the person. And also like it shows how big of an impact personal brand really can be. And that can be followers or that could just be being known in the space. We have some clients where like they don't have a following, but they promise that they're well known in the space, and turns out they actually are because like everybody knows them from speaking at conferences. Obviously, that's a bit of an older generation, but personal brand really does make a big impact on campaigns. Has it been similar findings for you?
Yeah, 100%. I just ran a campaign, and legitimately it was very interesting to see. We had some people where it's like, hey, I spoke to you before. Like, I don't know if you remember our conversation. It's like obviously that lead's gonna convert at way higher rate. Or the I like to think in extremes sometimes because if you think in extremes, you can very clearly see it. Like if Jeff Bezos was sending cold emails. It could be the same copy, same everything. You just see Jeff Bezos, you're like, immediately that name is recognizable, or you see it come from Amazon.com. Like you're going to treat it totally different. So like the brand piece is huge. If it's a name well known in the space or someone has heard you adjacent in some way, like it's going to crush because at that point, it's not as much even a cold email. It's like a warmer email. And the biggest part of why cold emails don't convert is not because they don't want your offers, they don't trust you. Like you could say the best offer in the world, but they're just not going to believe you. And it's like, then you already lost. So yeah, for sure. Like a huge component.
Do you put your YouTube channel in your cold email in the description of your like in your signature when you send cold emails?
I don't. That is a good idea though. I just try and avoid links and all that stuff at all costs, but obviously I could say like YouTube colon like Matt Lucero or whatever. But that would be an interesting experiment to run and like split test it. I always like doing the like very narrow split test to see how much of a difference that makes because I have a feeling that would probably be somewhat significant, you know?
It is. I can
Yeah.
tell you. Like the way I look at links when I was tell clients is, will a link hurt deliverability a little bit? Yes. The question is, does a link make a significant enough impact that the decreased deliverability is a worthwhile cost? If it's a link to your crappy website, not yours, I'm saying in general, to a
Yeah.
crappy website or to like a YouTube channel with bad videos, no. But if it's like to a testimonial page that has 100 testimonials, or to a case study page where you've worked with Nike and Ford, or to your YouTube channel, or your massive following on LinkedIn, it makes a huge difference. Like my most common positive response to cold emails is watched X video, let's chat, Michael.
Wow. Yeah. That that is an interesting thing. I will probably give a shot then. But yeah, I makes total sense. And of the clients I close, I think I would want to say 100%, but like safely, let's say 80 to 90% have watched my YouTube channel in some capacity, like a testimonial or something at some point in the journey. So it's like it makes total sense. And the funny thing too, they click on one YouTube video, they'll scurry off, forget about you, and then you'll probably pop up in the recommended because they watched another one. So it's like you get permanent retargeting if they just watch one of those two. So interesting stuff. I'll probably give that a shot.
Or even just like name and brand recognition. Like people are smart. We're going to Google your company name or going to Google your name. Like someone maybe if this is a year from now, this interview will still exist and there's probably not that many people creating content around your name right now. So this will probably rank, but it looks really
Hmm.
good, right? If you search Matt Lucero and there's like 10 different interviews, it's like, oh, this guy's somebody, right? People want to talk to him. He's cool.
Yeah.
You know, even just, building like PR for your name being searchable. Now, if your name is like Dan Smith, tough luck. But like your name's, I think, unique enough. You could probably be on a few podcasts and like have a whole first page of results. So, that's something that like I've intentionally optimized for. And it's funny how like I'll have a call, and then on the second call across, they're like, yeah, I looked you up and watched that interview. That doesn't happen all the time. Maybe 1 out of 20 sales calls that will happen.
Yeah, I've had that effect too, and it also totally changes the dynamic because now it's not like who are you, what do you do, stop wasting my time. It's like this guy's important. Like actually he has a lot of insights and they're like excited to ask you stuff. It's yeah, it is a cheat code. And I would recommend like there is no downside of doing a personal brand except your time, which, for most, depending on where you are in the business, is not that much of a risk either. But yeah, for sure.
I would agree on that because like another fallback is like if your business goes to crap, you could use your YouTube channel as a resume item for a job.
Yeah,
Like,
easily. It's just like, hey, I scaled this company to this size and I have this many people that follow me for this. It's like, yeah, worst case scenario, or yeah, and you see people monetize like gaming channels for playing like Minecraft. Of course, you can monetize like a YouTube channel with a few thousand subscribers, but totally worth it. And anyone watching, highly would recommend if you're not scared of getting on camera. So
and if you are scared to get on camera, then
fix that.
take confidence consulting or something. I don't know. Go
Yeah.
talk to strangers. Well, cool. Coming back to your agency, could you give everybody a brief rundown of your sending tech stack? Like, how are you managing to stay out of spam currently?
Yeah, for sure. So we have, I mean, I would say it's standard, but depends on who's watching and what standard means to everyone. Smart lead for sending warm-ups, basically everything. There's been a lot of like controversy if you've seen like the very cold email space of like these tools aren't working, whatever. I've run a bunch of split tests with a bunch of tools, not seen any significant difference. If anything, I've seen Smart Lead outperform some of them. Um, Although that might change, whatever. At this moment, we're using Smart Lead. Sending tools or sending inboxes, we use mix of everything. We have it's probably 33 split between Google, Microsoft, and SMTP at this point. It seems like the SMTPs, there's a lot of ones that have stepped up their game in the last like year or two, which I'm very pleasantly surprised by, but still kind of like skeptical on some of that stuff. We use resellers, we use all kinds of stuff. And so my opinion is just slowly sort of changed on that from like it must be Google and it must be you're paying $7.20 an inbox. So like, wait, I've run the split test. There's a lot of other factors. We do 2 inboxes per domain broadly for now. That's also subject to change. I have some ideas on how we can optimize that. And then yeah, for data, we use a bunch of different providers. Apollo, our team is getting trained. I just trained a lot of them on like Clay. So now we can do a lot of the more sophisticated workflows. And we've seen a somewhat significant lift. And that depends on what you're doing between like the AI stuff and the non-AI stuff and like what you're inputting there. But I'd say that's probably like the 80-20 of it. Clay, Apollo, Smart Lead for sending, variety of different tools for the inbox stuff. And then for backend stuff, Airtable is like Airtable and Make are like the best tools for just everything operationally like ever. And then I have like a vendor who helps me with that. It's like phenomenal for the back end type stuff. So that's like I'd say pretty much all the significant stuff that I'm using.
Well, sick. One thing you mentioned there that is something that we believe a lot into is diversification and testing. Now, I'm going to make a really harsh note here. If you are a beginner, do not worry about diversification and R&D. Choose a proven path, make it work. But when you have 50 email accounts, 100 email accounts, 500, we have a client we're setting up now where we're setting up 650 email accounts. Like you do want that diversification between domain providers, email providers, sending providers, and you also want to dedicate a budget to R&D. But if you're listening, you're a beginner, ignore everything about testing and just use Smart Lead or Instantly and like
Yeah.
proven path. But yeah, we do something very similar to diversification, and I think it's a smart way to go about it. Now, were you in cold email back when the Zoho crash happened like 2, 3 years ago?
I was, and luckily I was smart enough or dumb enough or something enough to not use any Zoho. So, but I saw a lot of people get wiped. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it just snap of a finger, everything's like gone basically.
I saw a lot of agencies go out of business, and luckily we were 33, 33, 33. Outlook, Google, Zoho. And that was actually where we took on a bunch of clients because people were leaving other people and coming to us. So that was a good case study of like diversification matters. Now, we're coming up to time here, Matt. I want to ask one last question, actually two more. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Second to last is, you're doing this company, getting clients good results, building a personal brand. What is the long-term goal here? Do you want this to be a massive agency? Do you want to sell it? Like, what is the goal?
The short-term goal and why I got into this was literally the cost benefit calculation of like, I want to be financially free, like fire, whatever. I saw like the Reddit of like, retire early, right? Like just be able to have independence in my life, and the cost benefit of like entrepreneurship seemed like the best approach to doing that. And as I've done it more, I just realized that like if I exit something, it's just going to be like, all right, what am I going to do next? Like I feel like I'm kind of wired in that way that I want to be doing something. And so I figured that like the goal initially was just get enough money so I can never work again. And now I just like it. It feels like it gave me almost like a purpose or something that I'm excited and looking forward to. So I don't really want to treat this like a lifestyle thing where it's like, hey, have my passive, 20K a month and then like go and do whatever. It's really just like grow this as big as possible, see where things break, and maybe it'll change along the road. Maybe I'll start getting gray hairs at 28 and be like, this, I should probably chill in Turks and Caicos for a year or two. But for now, it's just grow the business as big as possible and build it in a way that it's sellable, even if the intention isn't selling. Because if I build in a way it's sellable, that just means that I'm not the leverage point for everything, which means that like it becomes valuable. I'm not required to be there, but I probably will be. And yeah, I think the goal is, yeah, just stack it up. And one thing I've learned from Hormozy and seeing a lot of the private equity, like M&A, like big picture stuff is like how things scale exponentially. Like this company, the way it is right now, is worthless. Like I cannot sell it to anyone for anything unless it's someone on an off, not to an institution level person, but like as you scale profits and revenues, it becomes sellable. And then like if you double your profit, it's not the valuation doubles. The valuation doubles and the multiple is different because bigger companies get bigger multiples. So it just seems like everything points just making this bigger, making it fun. And for now, it's still very exciting, and I'm continually happy to keep running it. So that's the goal for now, and things might change.
Well, I like that. I agree that building to sell. I mean, why would a business sell? Because it doesn't need its owner. That's like one of the main reasons. So like you're winning either way. Now, as a final question, obviously I'll have your YouTube link below, but where else should people go to learn more about you?
I was probably just YouTube, honestly. I have a Twitter, LinkedIn, all kinds of stuff. But as we were talking here on this, you can learn a lot more. You can get a lot more in-depth stuff. YouTube content makes it a lot more thoughtful because it takes a lot more effort to make. So check out YouTube. I'm on Smart Leads channel. I'm on, I coach in some groups and stuff, and there's a lot of places you could probably find me, but I would just say like YouTube's the simplest and easiest. And if you are a business owner and you need cold email, you have Michael here. You also have me. You can talk to both of us. And so, yeah, you can check out my website, Anivo Marketing. We do cold email stuff, just like Michael. So if you're, you can check out both of us. But yeah,
Put us both on a group call and grill us. May the
yeah.
best win.
Michael said this price. What is your price? Like, just keep working us down. But yeah, I don't know. If you're looking for cold email stuff, I'm here too. But yeah.
That's fair. Well, Matt, thank you very much for your time. This has been great. And I think there's a lot of interesting insights here, especially people looking to go into B2B lead gen. So hopefully we'll catch up in about a year of a channel and see how you progressed. Thank you
Yeah.
again.
Awesome. Yeah. Super excited to be on here. Appreciate you having me on. And yeah, I'm sure you and me will chat before then too. So yeah.
Yeah. Peace.
All right. See ya.